Okay. So thank you guys, and myself Bhanu, and I have 17 years of experience on IT industry, and since last 4.5 years I'm working on AWS cloud, and still I'm working, and as part-time I will do this trainings. And I was certified at the early, 2013 on AWS Architect, and that's about me. And about this course, this course mainly covers Architect course. You might heard that. So let me show you what is the course that we are covering. See here, this is the course that we are covering, and the content is available. Let me open up the AWS Amazon site. This course mainly covers the first one, Architecting AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate. This is the starting level certifications, and this is one that we are covering. But however, most of the tasks, Architect will cover only how to do, but how we are doing also will cover in SysOps. So 100% we will cover solution architect, but also we will cover SysOps. Most of the subject which is covered in SysOps administrator will also be covered in this class. So AWS certified solution architect with practicals that are part of SysOps will be covered in this course. And are we ready for certification preparation after this course? We will guide you how we can prepare for the class, certification, and we can give you some guidelines. What are the best ways to go and certify AWS Solution Architect? Okay, that we can give the guidance. But the training is not enough, and you need to go through the white papers, and anybody, some friends, if you have some sample questions or dumps, you need to go through that, but we will guide you how we can go. And the labs for this entire course, and AWS is providing the free tier for learning AWS. So I will guide you how we can use the AWS free tier. So ideally it won't be charged, but if you have a good, I mean until unless you don't launch anything which is out of free tier. Okay, so you should be knowing the free tier limits. What are the limits that we have in free tier? So the entire lab you can do with free of cost, but there might be, if you forgot or if you something launched which is unknown to you, so there is a possible charge for your so that's the one thing. So that is about lab. And the course content, that, one second. So we are going to cover, for you guys, so we are going to cover, so what is cloud computing? And introduction to AWS and setting up a new account and Elastic Compute Cloud and one of the service, and it will take few days. And the storage part of it, and the load balancers and auto scaling, how we can launch and servers with auto scaling based on the resources. We can scale up and scale down the servers in particular application. And a simple, S3, that's one more service, Glacier for the backups, and user management in AWS, that is identity and access management, and a VPC, so it's a logical boundary for our servers, our entire infrastructure, that is a logical boundary. And again, Route 53, this is the DNS service within the AWS and can be used for anybody. And RDS and CloudWatch and simple notification service and simple queue service and simple email, so, and cloud formation as well. So these are the contents that we are going to cover in this course, and 90% will be covered with practical labs. So I will show you whatever I am talking, and I will show you how to create the instances, extending the drives, whatever that is. I mean, whatever is possible in AWS, I mean, I will do the labs and I will show you how we are doing it. Okay, along with the I mean theory, I'm going to do the each exercise. Okay, so this is what the course is. So since few people not attended the demo class, I will repeat the same class, but who are attended, just bear with me. So let's go ahead and start. And Chari had an asked my question. Yes, no, solution architect is nothing but developer plus sysops. No, solution architect is not a developer thing. So developing is a different stream, like the people who want to build an application, not build, develop application using the Amazon resources. Okay, that is their main career path. I mean, who knows the Java, .NET, they can go with any programming language. They know, I mean, AWS is providing the SDK, so they can develop applications by using the Amazon. Since nowadays, entire infrastructure is as a code, so we can do everything with code. Whatever we are doing on console can be done using the code. So that's their path. SysOps and architect is most relevant to the who are managing the infrastructure, launching the servers, deployments, these kind of things, DevOps kind of thing. These kind of thing is a different career. Okay, so Charlie, did I answer your question? Okay, I'll consider has answered. For after completion of course, I will wait for 10 minutes. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Even in between also, you can send a message, so I will answer while in the class. So every day I will spend 10 minutes after the class, so you can ask any questions. So that's how we will follow our class. Okay, so let's move on, guys. And it's nowadays, I mean, every IT engineer, as per my experience, every IT engineer should be learning cloud, at least one cloud technology. So because every organization will go for the cloud, so either it is AWS or Azure or Google, whatever it is, one cloud technology everyone need to learn, because everyone is going to use and almost people are using it. So why AWS? Because that's in the top list of present cloud providers. Okay, so let's start with I mean, before we go with start with, some people may be very new to this clouds, and some people are freshers. So I just want to go through with what exactly the cloud is, and how AWS started their cloud journey, and what AWS infrastructure is. So we will start like that, and let's see what we have here. Okay, so This is the cloud definition that is not developed or designed by me. This is I got from the Wikipedia, but I will explain what exactly this means. What are the main characteristics that need to be followed by any cloud if they want to call that as a cloud. Okay, so it's just an online computing and with shared processing. I mean, these are the characters which are colored in light blue. These are the main characteristics for the any online service that can be called as a cloud service. Okay, it should be a shared processing resources and on demand. Whenever we want something that service, I mean, let's take an example of servers as we took from the cloud provider. So it should be shared. I mean, not only by us, somebody else also should able to use, and on demand. What this meant by on demand? So people can, if we ask 10 servers, they should able to provide. If you ask 500 servers, they should able to provide. That kind of characteristics also should be there. And rapidly provision, not only the capacity that they should able to provide, but they should able to provide with
Hello.
less.
Hey, Banu.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Banu, so some of the folks not able to join. So is everybody joined from LFG?
Yes. I mean, I got 3 people have joined.
Okay.
So the names that Shilpa mentioned has already joined.
Okay. Some person is getting an issue.
Who is that?
Let me. One of the Vamsi is getting a problem. Let me check with him. I don't know why. So you are recording the session, right?
Yes, I'm doing it.
Okay. Thank you. So let me troubleshoot with him what the problem is.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I'll log off.
Yeah, okay. No issues. Okay. So apart from this shared processing resource, I mean, we told it's an on-demand and rapidly provisioned. What that means, rapidly provisioned? Yeah.
మిగిలిన వాళ్ళందరూ జాయిన్ అయ్యారు మీకు ఏం ప్రాబ్లం
Okay, sorry guys, sorry for the disturbance. And rapidly provision means along with they are able to provide the service, but also when compared to the earlier days, I mean, it will take a few months to get any service. But if you ask 1,000, they should able to give us in less time. In cloud scenario, it will be in minutes ideally. If you can programmatically script it, you can get these servers, even 1,000 servers can be launched in minutes. Okay, so and also with minimal management effort. What exactly this minimal management effort means? I mean, earlier, I mean, before we go with uh, this cloud or virtual servers. I mean, what will happen to us is, I mean, when we are going for physical servers, new servers, um, we need to go to at least 2 vendors like HP or Dell and ask for the code, and then they will send us the codes, and we revisit the configuration, and once it is confirmed, and then it will be sent to the finance team, and then the finance team will go to the CA boss, this is a budget and needs to be approved, and then it is approved, then we will send the purchase order, then they will deliver those servers to us. So there is a lot of management effort also will be involved when we are planning to purchase servers. Okay, that's also there. So that is the I mean, nowadays it just I mean, if you go to the cloud, I mean, like AWS, and use your credit card, and got your servers. That's it. I mean, you don't need to raise any POs. If you are unhappy with it, just shut down and go off, and you will be charged only for 1 day. That is the main. With minimum management effort also has been drastically reduced. You just no need to worry about raising POs and all this. I mean, it's all, I mean, pay as you go. It's like a electricity bill. I mean, if you use for few hours, it's done. And only will pay per only few hours. That's the main thing. So any online computing with shared processing resources on demand and rapidly provisioned with minimum management effort. If any cloud service is satisfying all these characteristics, then we can call this as a cloud service. Okay, that is what cloud is. But okay, let's move on to the next. And I mean, you might heard that, yeah, I mean, we know the cloud, but what exactly this IaaS and PaaS and SaaS? You might heard these three famous terms. Nowadays, we got many other FaaS and some other things, but these are the core generic cloud types. And they derived few more nowadays, but if you understand these three, then you will know how these has been categorized. So these are the generic cloud types that we will hear. What exactly these are? I mean, one is infrastructure as a cloud, the second one is platform as a service, and the third one is software as a service. So the first cloud one is, we will start from the bottom to top. From bottom to top, the first one is infrastructure as a service. What exactly this is? So it is more clear in the name itself. It will tell us what is infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service. That means servers, storage, switches, firewalls, all this infrastructure. If you are getting from any cloud services like AWS or Google or Amazon, I mean Azure, then we can call this as infrastructure. You are just opting for infrastructure. Okay, then we can call this as a infrastructure as a service. Okay, the next one is platform as a service. What exactly the platform? So now we are getting servers, and what kind of this is the platform as a service. Okay, nowadays we are getting servers, it's fine, so we know that. And what exactly this platform? So it's a little bit more matured. So let's take example that we have some software industry, and we got some new project for our organization, and we need to start developing that application from .NET. So by using the .NET code. So what exactly you need? So you ask to your local IT and boss, we got a new project in .NET. So we need a few servers which need to be Windows 2012 with .NET 4.5 and IIS, Internet Information Service, installed, and we need one MS SQL server, that is 2017, and these two servers need to be provisioned in maybe next week. Okay, good. So what IT people will do is, okay, they will launch a servers, because they got this infrastructure as a service. They can get these servers immediately with no time, with very less time. They have these two servers ready, and later on they will install .NET and IIS, and on SQL server they will install MS SQL, and they will provide that information too. But whereas if you have a platform as a service, nowadays you just need to select that option, platform as a service, and you just need to select, boss, I just need .NET with MS SQL. Done. So entire IIS installation with .NET and MS SQL installation will be done for you, and ready to use. So apart from servers is up to one infrastructure as a service. On top of it, you are getting platform as a service. For that, you just need to select a .NET or Java or JBoss, whatever it is. Some middleware technology, just select it, and it's automatically installed in the back end, and based on the configuration that you've given, like how many servers, how many front ends, and one back end server with one load balancer, just you need to choose it, and you have that entire setup ready. That is called platform as a service. So AWS have this kind of, it's not only infrastructure as a service, it will provide all kinds of services. It is capable enough to provide all kind of services. And the next one is software as a service. What exactly this software as a service? Platform as a service we done. So what will happen to software as a service is uh, it's a little bit more matured than platform as a service. So you have to develop in platform as a service, you have to develop some application, but platform is ready. But what will happen to software as a service means somebody has developed that application that is useful for many organizations, like Gmail. So if you go to the Gmail and ask for boss, I just started my organization like banu.com and I need 1,000 mailboxes. Yes, here you go. So they will provide mailbox services. They will create 1,000 mailboxes on your name and in your company organization and give it to you. In older days, I mean in earlier days, what will happen to have 1,000 email mailboxes for your organization? You need to build your own Exchange server or Lotus Notes, any Linux application that you need to build on your own, that mail service, and you need to configure the firewalls and ports and everything need to be done by you, your organization. But nowadays we are getting this entire mail application as a service. Based on the mailboxes they will charge us. So that is called software as a service. And one more example is Microsoft Office 365. It's like we need to build an Exchange server, but nowadays we are just getting that mailboxes online, including Office, right? You don't need to install Office on your laptop. You are getting Office, Word, Excel, everything on cloud. That is called software as a service. So you, whatever you have, I mean, up to, I mean, platform as service we are getting just to middleware, a layer will be installed and you are ready to develop any applications. So why people will use three times when we have a platform as a service? Why we need to go to infrastructure as a service? That is when people need some customization, people will still use infrastructure as a service, and people will still use platform as a service because there are some requirements. Simple application, they just, because I just need a .NET environment, so they can go with platform as a service. And software as a service, there are some major applications, some HR functions. Many organizations will use the common HR ones, and this mail service, it's best example because people will use this. I mean, Office 365 and Gmail, people will use a lot. I mean, they'll instead of developing their instead of using their own infrastructure and building the infrastructure, spending a lot of time and management time, they are getting with less time, right? Within one day, they can get all mailboxes built for them and ready to use. So this is how the cloud, based on the services that they provided, the cloud is divided into three types based on the services that they were provided. AWS is capable enough to provide all these three and more than these three. But at this moment, you just need to understand, based on the service that they provide, the names has been defined. If it is just an infrastructure, we can call it as an infrastructure as a service. And nowadays we are hearing that functions as a service, but it's a little bit advanced. So I mean, you might hear there are functions as a service and database as a service There are many other are getting nowadays, but the core based on the services um, that provided by cloud services, this has been defined. Okay, this is how the generic clouds are defined. Let's move on to the one more slide. It will give you more idea on what are the responsibilities will go away if we opt for these cloud services. Okay, this is the best slide, I mean, that I got from the internet. So see here, I mean, we have on-premises data center. This is the responsibilities, and this is on-premises, and this is infrastructure as a service, and these are the responsibilities, and platform as a service. These four towers indicates on-premises and the three generic cloud types. What will happen? What are the benefits that we will get if you opt for the each cloud services? Okay, here if you go to the on-premises, you need to worry about networking, storage, servers, virtualization, OS, middleware, everything we need to build from scratch, and we need to manage everything from networking to applications. But if you go for infrastructure as a service, networking, storage, servers, virtualization will be managed by somebody else like AWS. So on top of it, which OS we need to launch, which OS we need to install, from that point, that remaining thing is managed by us. So these responsibilities will gone away. So we no need to worry about that. Okay, and if you go to the platform as a service and even OS, we no need to worry. You just, what we will do is you just select, boss, I just need a .NET or Java or JBoss, whatever it is, that environment, you just select that in the cloud provider, and you have OS built and middleware built by cloud provider and runtime also built like .NET, and only from there onward you just start developing your applications. So that is what we will do. And if you go on to the software as a service, you don't need to worry about any development and what is the application that they use. You just use their function like mailbox. You just, why I need to worry whether it is a Microsoft Exchange or Lotus Notes, whatever it is, send mail, why I need to worry? I just use, for my organization, I just need 1,000 email boxes. So whether I'm able to send mails and receive mails, and all calendar is working fine, scheduling is working fine, meetings are working fine, I no need to worry about that. Then this is called as software as a service. The best example is Office 365 and Google Apps, and in and many in AWS we have many services like this. Even database we are getting as a service. Email we are getting as a service. Desktops we are getting as a service. So many features that we have in AWS. Okay, so this is all based on the I mean, based on the, I mean, this is how you the responsibilities that move away if you opt for the cloud service. These are the main benefits that we will get. Okay, so let's move on to, so we know that is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software. You might heard that there are, what is nowadays we are hearing about private cloud, hybrid cloud, and public cloud. What exactly this is? We know based on the service that they provide, we divided these cloud types, but now what is these three: private, public, and hybrid? Based on the deployment, the way we deploy these cloud services, based on the service that they provide, the cloud is divided into those types. I mean, infrastructure as a service, platform. How we deploy this physically, based on this, these are defined: private cloud or public cloud or hybrid cloud. So what exactly this private, what is the difference between these two? Very simple and easy to learn. And let's talk about public cloud initially. Public cloud is nothing but this, our AWS, Azure. And why it is called public cloud? Because it can be used by multiple organizations. Okay, so it can be used by multiple organizations, so multiple tenants can be used. So even I can use it, and you can use your credit card and you can launch your servers. So multiple people, it's for public. I mean, it's many organizations can use it. But what is private cloud? It's very simple. So it's only for single tenant. So why we need to build single tenant? So some organization have some limitations, like they don't yet believe public cloud, and they have some security restrictions, compliance restrictions, boss. Some banking sectors and health sectors. Why I want to keep my financial and health details on a public cloud where multiple tenants are used the same infrastructure? What is the guarantee and why I need to keep that in there? So they have some concern about their complaints, so they don't want to keep their important data or some complaints issued data into public cloud. They don't want to keep it. So for those people, and they build their own private clouds. They will get all these cloud capabilities that we saw in first slides, and they will build their own cloud. It's not accessible by anybody else except their own organization people, and they will control their access, uh, and it will be used for their own purpose. Okay, so, and what are the best example, the tools that we have for the private cloud? You might heard VMware private cloud, OpenStack. So these can be used to build your own private. There are many other, but these two are some famous private cloud tools. Private VMware private cloud and the OpenStack. By using these, you can build your own private cloud in your on-premises data center, in your server rooms. Yes. So that is called private cloud based on the deployment, because it's not given access to anybody else. So what is hybrid? So, okay, let's take an example. So it's not something new, but the connection between these two. That means if Bhanu, I have an organization myself and I am using public cloud as well as a public private cloud to keep some financial data, and I have a connectivity between these two and I will control the connectivity. Okay, that is called hybrid cloud. It's not something new cloud. If you are using as an organization, if you are using a private and public cloud, both, if we are connected, and as an organization I have a connectivity between these two, so as an organization I am using a public, I mean hybrid cloud. Why hybrid cloud? Because I am using private and public, and I have a connectivity between these two to work seamlessly, to access any service that are there in private as well as the public. That's what I do. Okay, the, any questions on this, guys? I mean, this is all a basics till now. So why people will go for public cloud? These are the basics. What is the generic terms? Why we need to know this? If you are reading any articles on your own, if you are reading any articles on your own, and when you are discussing with peers, when you are discussing with any seniors, they will refer these terms. What is, I mean, we are using PaaS, and can we move it to private cloud? What exactly this? I mean, you might confuse. So you need to understand these basics before we move on to AWS. I mean, this is a basic understanding of cloud. Okay, that's the reason I covered this. Okay, any questions till now, guys? This is just basics. So you can ask or chat. I'll give 1 minute, so I'll go on to next slide if you don't ask any questions. Okay, seems everybody is clear with that. I got one question. Seems private cloud involves cost. Yes, Because if you are building your own private cloud, it will involve costs, definitely, because the servers you need to buy, the physical servers, and you need to purchase your cloud software, any VMware private cloud or something. Yes, it is more costlier than public cloud, ideally. So it's not pay as you go, right? So you need to invest entire thing for you. I mean, there's power from different sources, ISP internet from the different sources. But you need to manage a lot of things, and you need to have a contract with a lot of service providers. Okay, yes, it is involved. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, guys. Can you please give examples for private cloud and what are their purpose when there is no security? Okay. So, okay, good question. Can you please give an examples for public cloud and what is their purpose when there is no security? Okay, good question, but it was in earlier days when people are not believed about the security in public cloud. But nowadays, security is a measure, and AWS has done many security certification in related to finance sector and health sector as well. Nowadays, some organizations or even banking sector is using the AWS public cloud. If some people still don't believe that, they will still use, because if you are coming to any organization, if they have around 10,000 servers, doesn't mean that each server have a more critical servers, right? I mean more critical and more financial data. Almost 50% can move it to public cloud, and 50% they can keep it. So nowadays, if you are going for public cloud, doesn't mean entire infrastructure is there in public cloud. In ideal scenario, people will have their own data centers along with the public cloud. Okay, but 80% or 70% they will put some targets and they will keep most of the data in public, and if they still feel that it is not secure, they will go with private. But as per the security measures, AWS has done certifications, and you can implement your own security mechanism like encrypting the data on AWS using your own keys. That means no one can unlock or see the data until unless they know the key that you manage. The disk level encryption is also provided by AWS, and the entire data in the cloud can be encrypted by using your own keys. Yes, that kind of security is there. And earlier it's not that mature, but people are aware and people are going to cloud. Even financial sector is going for the AWS cloud. That's actually good concern, and people have a concern still. That is a concern. I mean, some organizations still have these concerns, yes, but it's cleared. I mean, okay. So Prashant, did I answer your question? Okay, seems I did. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so how AWS? I mean, people who are not talking, please go on mute. Okay, otherwise I will put you, if I put on mute and you can't talk, right? Okay, so that's why I'm just not keeping you guys on mute. Okay, if you're not talking, just go on mute. Okay, for government agent we have a special gov cloud. Yes, I mean, it's not that easy to build a Go cloud. In US, yes, there is a AWS government cloud is built for US government. Yes, it is there. So let's start with AWS. How did they started? How did they got this idea, and how did they started their business in cloud? We know all these three business nowadays. The business that AWS has is Amazon Web Service, so IT infrastructure business. How did they get into this business? I mean, we all know that AWS has AWS used to sell. I mean, not used to. AWS is selling. They have this online Amazon.com, and in Black Fridays or Thanksgiving days, and they have a huge sales. If they are getting a 10 sales per day or per second, on Thanksgiving Day and that week, the website will get at least 1,000 times or 10,000 more sales per second. Okay, so what this means to us, what this means to AWS infrastructure, what this means to IT people within the AWS. So to make sure that the service is not affected by this unexpected hits, unknown volume of the hits, because we don't know how many people come on the site, but everyone will get the seamless website browsing, and no one will lose their these things. For those the IT people within the AWS, they used to plan 6 months prior to that, and they will do some estimation, and they will do some over provisioning if they calculate. But we might hit 1 lakh hits per second. They will plan for at least 2 lakhs. I mean, that's how, because they will do over engineering, because they don't know. They might save over but um, uh, further, they used to plan 6 months prior to planning the servers, buying the servers, and they will do POs, and they will get a lot of servers to prepare for that in for those 3 days, for that weekend. And once the week is done, they have service very well, and those 3 days are gone. Now the usage of these servers will be zero, right? So almost, if they buy 10,000 servers, only 9,000 servers will be unused after that sales. How they, I mean, they are thinking that how we can utilize these. Is there any best way to utilize all these unused servers after these 3 days? We are just using for only few days in entire year. But we are wasting entire remaining years. The resources are useless. Is there any best way to use it? Yes, I mean, they got this idea, okay, what if you use the storage, what if you use the servers for building some environment which can be, we can sell it out to people, they can use some shared resource. That is where they started this cloud IT infrastructure business, okay, and they started their service with just a storage service that is called S3, and that was in 2006. They started this first service in 2006 with simple storage service that is called S3. That is one of the service in AWS cloud. Okay, that's what they started their business with. Okay, so from there onwards, they start building the new services, and they come up with EC2 and the databases. Nowadays, it's awesome. I mean, even entire data warehouse is available, and artificial intelligence is available, IoT is available on it. Okay, there are many services that AWS is providing. You know, for those, if in ideal scenarios, to build those infrastructures, for us to have at least one service, it will take months to get there. But nowadays, if you go to AWS, boss, I just need this service. Yes, here you go. You can use it with a little bit configuration. Yes, that's how. So if we see, this is how they started it, and what are the benefits that we will get if you use this AWS. The main benefits that people will get is, I mean, the organization will get is zero capex. Zero capex is a financial terms, that is a capital expenditure. Some people may not know this, but it's a capital expenditure. So if you want to build, if you want to start any organization, you have to reserve some funds for buying an IT infrastructure. Sir, for IT infrastructure, they no need to reserve any financial, I mean, any amount, any fund for IT infrastructure. Why? Because it's pay as you go. After you use, after 1 month, you will pay it. So in olden days, what will happen is, boss, we just need to have a one server room in office and one data center in maybe in Pioneer or cable and wireless somewhere. We just need to take some space and build some servers. All this, at least we need $1 million to start with. So nowadays, do we need to worry about that initial investment? No, ideally no. So that's what zero capex. If you want to start some organization, yes, you can use this with zero capex and done. So zero capex, so pay as you go, just use and pay from finance team. So no commitment. What is this no commitment? So if you use, I mean, if you buy a server, it's a 3 years warranty. You need to have that for 3 years, and otherwise you just don't use it. But here, if you use for 1 hour, okay, you'll pay for 1 hour. If you use for 10 days, you'll use. There is no commitment. You can use it and stop using it. That's it. It's only for pay as you go. You don't need to worry about large investments. So there is no commitment. Get rid of negotiation. Yes, that is true, very much true. There is no negotiations with the HP or Dell or boss, I need these, and they are giving with less price, these get less price. And internet service provider, boss, I need 10 Mbps, 8 Mbps. Why I need to worry? If you use it, just pay it. Whatever, you no need to rough estimate or over commit, over engineering for all this. So no, get rid of negotiations is also done. So procurement part, it's very less nowadays. We no need separate department for procurement. So pay per use, right? So we discuss this pay as you go. Like, I mean, if you use for 10 hours, we'll go. Security, yes, this is a very key term. It was a concern, but not now. But people are using it. Why? Because people are scared, because multiple organizations are using the same hardware. How can I believe that no one steals my data? So those kind of things nowadays it is, they they implement the best security across, I mean, in their infrastructure, including at hardware level and data center level, including the software like disk encryption kind of things. Yes, they followed the best standards with certified standards. I mean, if you go to the AWS and if you see the certifications of their finance or security level, they've done a lot of certification. They are continuously audited by the common bodies that they build for across the globe. They build some security standards, right? They will audit this data centers and certify, yes, you are following the best security models for these data centers. They've done a lot of certification related to security, that ideally people in small organization not even think about it to invest that kind of money to go with those audit. But if you are going for, if a small organization, if you are starting and if you are keeping those servers, so you are already following some best practices, security guidelines. And the flexibility, yes, that's we already discussed, right? I mean, if you opt for any servers, yeah, 5 servers, yes, and you get down, I mean, you then you realize that we no need 5 and you can come down to 4 and you'll pay for only 4. That kind of flexibility is there. So if you want to shut down entire data center today, yes, you can shut down all the servers in the cloud, but that's it. The flexibility is, if you want to increase the capacity of the servers, yes, you can do it in minutes. and it is a global leader. Yes. Anybody heard about Convent? Oh, I forgot that name. Quadrant. I mean, there is an IT survey will happen every year and compare with the global leaders, and they will decide who is the best cloud service provider at this moment. So AWS is marked till now is the global leader in cloud services. Okay, till now. I will show you that. I mean, I just forgot that name. I'm not getting on top of my mind. Okay, but I will guide you that. And the best in class platform as a service. Not only, I mean, I told you, right? I mean, AWS is capable enough to not only infrastructure, it is providing a lot of services, not only infrastructure platform and in market platform as a service. It has a great offerings like .NET environment, Java, Node.js, JBoss, all this kind of, within one click you will get entire environment for you. And the last one, that API, application programming interface. So the term, this is very important because nowadays infrastructure is a code. It's a very critical term here. Infrastructure is a code. What that means to us, what this API. Whatever we are doing through console can be done programmatically. So even though if you are doing through console in backend, it will be done through programmatically. Some function will be open and launch the server. So in olden days, if you want to have a server, you'll have a physical, right? But nowadays, all servers, firewalls, bandwidth, everything can be managed through programmatically. That's what this means. So if you are good at any programming with infrastructure knowledge, so you will become a superstar. Nowadays, you will be highly paid engineer. If you know the programming with infrastructure knowledge, you are damn good. You are in demand for next 10 years. Okay, so that's what API means. Anything can be managed in AWS using the code. They are providing a software development kits in different languages like Java or .NET, and they are providing SDKs how to manage the entire infrastructure. So you can use those if you are a developer. Yes, and that's what the benefits. Okay, so this is the great benefits that we have with AWS. And let's see, I mean, when we are saying this is a global leader and many people are using it, it has a very good PaaS offering, so they should be having the infrastructure, right? Which programming has more demand with AWS? The question I got is programming, any programming, Java or .NET is the leaders, but for us, for infrastructure management, even Python and PowerShell, even the scripting tools that we have, Python is also very good in doing it, learning it. So not the entire Python we need to know, but I mean, if you once you understand the entire infrastructure, how AWS works, if you have a little bit programming knowledge, and if you know that also, that will give an added advantage for you. .NET, Java, Python, yes, these are the top ones. Okay, that's that is what the question, right? Which programming has more demand with AWS? Yes, that's what it is. Okay, I think I answered. Thank you. And so now let's spend a few minutes on the infrastructure that we have. So AWS have an infrastructure, right? I mean, when we are saying they are managing, providing infrastructure as a service, they should be somewhere, they should be having their infrastructure. So where they have their infrastructure? This graph indicates the world map. On top of it, we have circles, and This will tell us where exactly they have their servers or data center facilities. Okay, so this is a few months old data, but once we understand these circles, then we will go to the AWS site, the live one infrastructure map. Okay, this is a few months old slide. Okay, so this is the world map. Do we need to learn JSON to work with AWS? JSON is used for cloud formation and writing the policies. Yes, if you know it, it will be added advantage. And to work with cloud formation, yes, you need to know the JSON. And also they are giving the YAML also. Let me see the question. Do we need to learn JSON to work with AWS? That's not the question. Or yes, if you know the JSON, it will be an added advantage. Yes. Because if you want to automate anything or writing the policies, yes, you need to know the, you need to understand the JSON. What AWS has given is, for writing the policies, people don't know how to write the JSONs because system administration ideally not good at programming, some people. Okay, so for those they given some GUI tools where you can generate the JSON script to write policies. Okay, but if you are good at JSON, yes, that's absolutely good for you. Okay, so this is what is. Okay, let's move on to the global infrastructure of it. So when we are saying global infrastructure, they have global data center facilities in different countries across the globe. So the circles indicates where they have a data center facilities. That means in India we have, it is showing coming soon, but let me open the latest one. AWS global infrastructure. Okay, see here. Okay, this is the place, I mean, this is the latest information where they have a data center facilities. So we have around 337 plus 310 plus 613 plus 3. Total 16 data center facilities that we have, that AWS have. So in the AWS terminology, the locations where they have data center facilities are called regions. That means we have a region in India, we have a region in Australia, in US we have a couple of regions, in Europe we have a couple of, in Russia, China. We have a couple of regions we have in across the globe. Okay. Okay, so these are the couple of regions that we have. And what this number indicates within that. So we have these, look, we have different 16 regions across the globe, but what this number indicates within that. So 3 to 3 to 5. So every every region will have a minimum of 2 in number. So what this 2 indicates? 2 in AWS terminology, it will be 2 availability zones in that region. What that means? So let's, I will take in Hyderabad as an example. Let's imagine in India, the region that we have is Hyderabad. Actually, it's in Mumbai, but I will take an example. in Hyderabad. Let's imagine in Hyderabad we have a region of AWS. So if you compare this, everything is in coastal region because they have a very good cabling connecting through sea, undersea. So any region it will be nearby coastal. So in India we have in Mumbai. Okay, so the number 2 indicates in from Hyderabad. Let's imagine that we region is in Hyderabad, and the 2 indicates means there are 2 data center facilities within the Hyderabad. So why we need to have a 2? In Hyderabad, let's imagine one is in high-tech city, nearby high-tech city. So everyone across the globe knows that Hyderabad high-tech city. So let's imagine that we have in one availability zone in Hyderabad. So if any natural calamities happens, some earthquake or some bombing happens, whatever it is, something has happened to that location and we lost the connectivity. So is there any better way to have this application running in the same region in another availability zone? Yes. What that means is they will build one more data center facilities which by managing some, by keeping some distance, they have some calculation on it. They will manage with some distance and nearby some Ramosi film city, and they will put one more data center facilities on it. Okay, and with low latency network connectivity. Low latency, that's the key term here. The availability zones are connected with low latency network. That means it's almost like a LAN. So in Hyderabad, let's imagine Hyderabad is a region and availability zones are, one is in high-tech city and one is in Ramosi Film City. The 2 indicates there are 2 availability zones. So let's take an Australia example. So Australia has one region and 3 availability zones. That means they have 3 data center facilities in that Australia region. So even though if you lose one availability zones, entire availability zones, they still have 2 more availability zones. So when you are designing any applications or building any applications, you will have a capability to launch one server in one availability zone and launch one server in another availability zone, so it can keep application live even though if you lose the entire data center. That is the main reason for having availability zones. So the circles indicates in AWS terminology is a region, and the number within the circle indicates availability zones in that region. And what are the greens? New region, coming soon. So there are 3 more regions that they plan and will be upcoming regions. So in AWS terminology, we have 16 regions, and within 16 regions, they always maintain minimum of 2 availability zones in any region, and up to maximum we saw it is 5 availability zones. Okay, this is what global infrastructure. As part of global infrastructure, we will have one more thing that is called edge locations. These are edge locations. What exactly these edge locations are? They have around 50 to 60 edge locations across the globe. So what exactly these edge locations is for? These are, some people might heard that CDN, Content Delivery Network. So if you host any application in Amazon, and if it has any global presence, like let's take an example of Amazon.com. Okay, so Amazon.com can be accessed from many countries across the globe, right? So what will happen if people are accessing from India? Let's imagine like we have 1 million people are accessing Amazon.com. So what will happen is every image will be downloaded from the server where exactly it is hosted. Okay, right? So every image, the iPhone image or the balls or whatever it is, the entire items. If you see the Amazon.com, see here, let's click it. Let's go with Amazon.in. So there are many images, right? There are a lot of content within the website. So what will happen once we access it, the entire data should be downloaded from the server if you don't have a CDN. Okay, by implementing the CDN, what will happen is instead of downloading the entire content from the CDN, we will have a one local server in India, and any repeated content will be stored that in India server, and it will be downloaded for Indian clients. It will be downloaded from that server. So that server will called as a edge locations, because it will keep track of repeated used content from India, and it will store a local copy of it. So what will happen if somebody is asking, somebody is just browsing Amazon.in, and instead of going to download each content, each image from the actual server which is located in US, it will download the content from the server which is there in India itself. That server is called an edge location. This entire edge location network is called CDN, Content Delivery Network. So across the globe they have around 40 to 50 edge locations. Okay, so any organizations, they have a global presence, they will use edge location. It will save a bandwidth, download, it will improve the performance of the website also. Okay, this is what the global infrastructure of AWS is. Okay, so any questions on this, guys? So with this, I'm done for today. So we will start with creating a new account. I will tell you how we can create it, but I can't show in practical, but I will show you, some images, so how we can create a free account. What is the free tier limits that we have? Okay. Is there any specific service that we need to focus on compared to other like OpsWorks, RDS, which are used frequently? Yes. RDS, EC2 are very repeated, and S3, we will come to that, guys. These are very repeatedly used. OpsWorks is a new one, and people nowadays started using it. Nowadays, OpsWorks is integrated with Chef, but it's not covered in our course, but RDS and EC2 will be covered in ArcTet. But I can give the overview of OpsWorks, because OpsWorks itself will take 1 week to 10 days to get into it. Okay, so it will comes under complete DevOps. Okay, so any questions, guys?
So Banu, I have one question.
Yeah.
So, when you say that, one region has multiple availability zones.
Correct.
So does it replicate the, data from the same zone or from the different, sorry, not same zone. Does it replicate from the same region or from different region?
Okay, good question. So by default, it won't replicate anything. Okay, it will give a flexibility to design in that way. So if you want to build, if you want to build an application, even though if you lose an entire availability zone, if you want to run your application up and running, yes, you have a flexibility there. By using these availability zones, what you will do is I will answer in different way. Okay, so if you want to build an application which is redundant, even though if you lose entire availability zone, you still want to run your application. Yes, you have that flexibility available in AWS. So what you will do is you will launch one server in one region and one server is in another region. Even though if you lose one server, and you still have one server is running. And you can configure, instead of replicating, we have other technologies, okay, that is S3. So you can store the copy, even though if you lose the availability zone, you still have the data in S3. That is a storage. So some common storage you have it, so you can take the copy from there and put it in another availability zone. You, it doesn't replicate, but your question, yes, we can build in that way, but it won't replicate, but we can use some other technologies to move data from here and there. But solution wise, we can have the application running even though if entire availability zone is gone.
Okay, on that note, so whenever we are buying or whenever we are getting the services,
Mhm.
so we need to pay for different regions to host our applications or to host our services.
It's not based on, they don't charge based on the availability zones, they just charge if you use the server or not. That's it. And the availability zone capabilities are free.
Okay.
Those capabilities are free. I mean, if just to use a server in this region, this availability zone or that availability zone, it will be same charge. There is no difference.
Okay, thank you.
So every time AWS will take care of sync up the data 24% in all availability zones. Yeah, am I correct? Uh, it won't do by itself. It's all up to us. By using these capabilities, we can do our replications. We need to configure that. But what they just do is they just give us the infrastructure. It's like Lego. I mean, AWS is a best example is Lego, the tool, right? I mean, we can build our cars, toys, whatever you want. So it's all up to us whether you want to build an hospital or whether you want to build a toy, and we want to build both toys. It's all up to us. But they will give a flexibility. You have a flexibility to replicate data between two regions. Yes. So you need to configure that option from our end. Okay. So anybody have any questions? Tomorrow we will start with IAM and we will complete it. If we have enough time, we will start with EC2. Every day the class will be 1 hour to 1.5 hours. So based on the time that we spent, we may finish within 15 days to 25 days. Ideal time that we need is 30 hours. So it's all depends on us. So, but every day I will spare 10 minutes for your question and answers. Okay, and thank you guys. And apart from learn from Guru, please send me your phone number and the name, except from the learn from Guru. Okay, please message me your phone number and name in the chat.